Uh-oh. Can
Let
you see
these
those
last
people? You're
ones.
gonna let those people in and I can
Yeah.
start? Okay, where is my,
Okay.
hold on, how did that happen? Okay, go ahead. Okay. We are Nurse Talk. I'm Doria Stewart and Cindy Reed, and I wanted to create a platform that would invite people in to be educated on a cellular health technology that has given people's lives back, both physically and financially. So we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to hear about all of this. So each week we have the honor to have a guest on that will share their testimony on how this technology has impacted their lives. And tonight we have Kirk and Karen Woolheater, which Cindy will introduce a little bit later. So what you're about to hear is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure any medical condition. And so what I'd like to do now is I want to introduce my wonderful, I want to say co-host because she's just another host. She's my partner in crime with this Nurse Talk. But I want to introduce Cindy Reed. I want her to tell you a little bit about who she is and her nursing background and how redox crossed her path and how it impacted her life.
Okay. Thank you, Doria. Doria has been a godsend to get this started and to come up with the idea for Nurse Talk. So my name is Cindy Reed, like she said, and I live here in Nashville, Tennessee. And at the moment I'm a hospice nurse. So when this crossed my path, I was on a journey to try to find a alternative solution for my issues that I was having, because I tested positive for some challenges. But the first part of my journey, I went to the third provider before I got the right diagnosis or treatments, whatever. So you have to be your own advocate, as the Woolheaters will definitely tell you in their testimony. So not only did this help me with my challenges, it gave me energy out the top of it was just amazing energy and sleep. So those were awesome. And and it was funny, I had a friend that was driving today and I was telling her a little bit about the Zoom. And anyway, she had been up here in Nashville playing with their grandkids. And she said, I wish we'd had grandkids earlier when I had more energy. And she's been on redox for a short period of time, but she didn't stay on it very long. So I just texted her back. I said, girl, you need to be back on this redox. I said, the energy is great. You won't even think about it twice. So that's my story. I just keep seeing more and more amazing results, not only with myself, but with just people I meet. And I love having different guests on our Zoom tonight. And that's how we learn and that's how we share. Everybody's different. And so the results they're going to have will be different depending on your body. Doria, I'll hand it back over to you. Do you want to share your story?
Sure. So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been a nurse for 41 years. I've worked in psychiatry and medical and surgical, and presently now in gastroenterology. And this science was brought to me by a very dear friend who is a dentist. And when he first shared it with me, I thought, this is kind of intriguing, but, I don't really think I need it because I really don't have any health challenges, or nor am I on any medications. But, as a nurse, I believe, we have those battle scars. We, work long and hard on our feet, and, we have, different challenges in reference to discomfort. And I thought it was just something I would have to, kind of live with the rest of my life. It's all part of aging and just what I've gone through. And so since I'm into health promotion, I thought I'll just take a deeper look at this. And when I realized it was non-toxic and it worked at the cellular level, then I thought, okay, let me go on it for about 3 months. So little did I know that I must have been deceiving myself, because I had a lot more going on than I thought. And so the first 3 days that I took the redox liquid, I slept for the first time in 30 years, 8 hours through the night. And I continue to do that as of today. I also, all the discomfort, back, joints, my heels, my feet, everywhere ached. And all of that dissipated within 30 days. And in the last 4 years, which I've been on the product, I take 8 ounces once a day, sometimes more. I use the redox gel, but I have not had any headaches. I've not had any sinus issues related to that. And I've emptied out my medicine cabinet. I'm strictly on this product, and I'll continue taking it the rest of my life. So I'm so thankful that the person that had enough courage to share this product with me.
Thank you, Doria. I'm going to show a short video that just gives us a little simple explanation of the technology that we're talking about. So we'll do that, and then afterwards we'll introduce Kirk and Karen and hear their amazing story. So let me share my screen and get this going here.
Hey, Terry.
Okay. Let me find where I put it. Okay.
My name is Dr. David Silverman. I'm happy to be able to spend a few minutes with you here. I'm on the medical board of this company, ASEA. I don't work for the company. It's a volunteer position. The flagship product, the breakthrough, is called ASEA, and that's the name of the company, ASEA. The technology is called redox. What's in this bottle is in us. Our cells make it. It's called redox signaling molecules. That's what it is. Redox stands for reductant and oxidant. It's made from saline. If you look at the back, it says it's made from salt and water. It is made from salt and water, but it's not salt and water anymore. What's in here, our cells make from saline. Our cells are filled with saline. When you go to the hospital and you get an IV, they give you saline because that's what our cells are filled with. Well, in our cells, we have something called the mitochondria. The mitochondria is called the power plant of the cell because we know it produces a molecule we burn for fuel called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It's been known for decades. But during the complicated process of producing that, we also produce these little things called reductants and oxidants. When I was a biology major in the 80s and then podiatric medical school in the 80s, there was no known function for these reductants and oxidants. You look at the literature in the 90s, they've discovered a function. And they're called reductants and oxidants, or redox signaling molecules. And what they do is amplify signaling. They make it so that your cells can hear one another. Why is that important? Well, they're not chatting about the football game that happened. Cells need to talk about, need to inform each other if there's a problem with the cell, because bad cells need to be replaced with good ones. As we age, our cells die, they need to be replaced with good cells. Good cells, healthy cells in your pancreas, you got a healthy pancreas. You got bad cells, you're going to have a disease, and they're going to start giving you medication to lower your blood sugar. Whether it's your cells in your retina, your liver, whatever, they die, they need to be replaced. They mutate, they need to be stopped. Who does all that? Your immune system does it. Your immune system gets a signal. It has to be a clear signal, and the immune system cells come down and get rid of that bad cell. All right. I'm not going to go into deep detail here, but this is why this product sounds too good to be true, but it is true because it's made from saline, right? And people are like, well, it's just salt water. It amplifies signaling. The more you have in your body, the louder the signal is. So children have a lot of mitochondria, and they're very, very packed tightly, and they're very efficient. So they produce a lot of ATP, power plant of the cell. Think about the energy children have, right? And as we age, energy kind of goes down, doesn't it? But what about healing? Who heals faster from an injury? A 10-year-old or a 20-year-old? 10-year-old does, because something happens at puberty. Our mitochondria become less efficient, and we start producing less ATP and less of this. I'm 61 years old. My cells are making this much. They made this much when I was a kid, right? I could fall off my bike, next day go to school. Fall off your bike at 61, what happens to you? Well, my cells are making this much. I drink this, I raise my levels up. Simple explanation, much more detailed that you can get, and your friend can give you more resources. But safety was what I cared about. Because it's made from saline, it's not salt water anymore. Salt water is two molecules, sodium chloride and H2O. Redox molecules, there are 16 possible ones using sodium chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen. So in your cells, the sodium chloride molecules ripped apart, the H2O molecules ripped apart, and those ions are combined to make redox signaling molecules. But safety is important. This is what I love. Think about this. There's a money back guarantee on the product, so that's safe too, but safe to your body. You can't be allergic to it. It's in you. There's no toxicity. If you take too much of it, your body turns the excess back into saline. I used to write prescriptions every day. There's risks with prescriptions, lots, but there's no toxicity to it. You can't drink too much. And third, it's transparent to medication. So if you're taking medications, you don't have to stop. If you have low mood and the medication you're taking helped you, but you've got side effects, you'd rather not take it, you don't have to risk it and stop it. Just keep taking it and watch what happens with the change with this, just by this is the only variable. Now, the gel version is Renew 28. Now, this is fascinating. People want to know how that this is real, especially before they start telling people about it. Give this 90 days. A simple explanation how to do it. Your friend will explain how to use the product. Simple, easy. But the very first day you get the product, take the gel, and it's marketed for anti-aging. I mean, it rejuvenates skin cells. So it's clear. There's no smell. It's marketed for your skin. But there's something fascinating about it. So you have a 30-day money-back guarantee on the product. Find a few people that have something that hurts them. Maybe you have something, your neck hurts, your hand, I wonder if it could help your knee, your back, menstrual cramp, whatever it is. Find 5 people. Say you find 10 people. And there's a simple way to do this. And in 10 minutes, what if you put it on 10 people and in 10 minutes, 5 of them said, that's incredible. How did it do that? What if it was 7 out of 10? What if it was 9 out of 10? Your friend will share with you how to do that, okay? But please, I urge you, take this very seriously, this investigation. And once you see what it does and you're in the know, like the pioneers that your friend is, that I am, this is going to become mainstream in the world. And you put the gel on 10 people who are hurting and ask them how they feel in 10 minutes, it's going to be very self-evident to you that this is going to become mainstream. But you can share this with people. You can do the same thing your friend is doing. You can invite your friends to a Zoom like this, anywhere in the world, do the exact same thing. Play this exact same video. All you do is share what happened with you, and you can make a real difference in this world. So again, you'll thank your friend for the rest of your life that they brought this to you, and it's an honor to be part of it. I can't see you right now, but I know you're listening to my words, and I hope you're taking this very, very seriously, because it really is a serious thing. Thank you so much.
Stop the share. Okay. All right. I want to introduce our guests for tonight, and we're very blessed and honored to have Kirk and Karen and to listen to their amazing story. So I'm just going to read through a short bio, and Kirk and Karen, y'all feel free to add anything else in once you get started on your testimony. So Kirk and Karen got married in 1989. They started their first business and their family in 1990. They have a daughter, Cassie, who lives in Washington State with her husband, Gary. And then Kirk and Karen's son, Kyle, lives on the property with them, and they're in Richland, Texas. Kirk has been a plumber for over 40 years. He's a master plumber with amazing knowledge in all things regarding building structures. And Karen has been in customer service since she was 18, moving into management at a very early age. She not only has run their own business, but she ran her father's paint and body shop and the wrecker service. Over the years, she's dabbled in network marketing, but never really had much success. I think that's about to change. In 2011, Karen had a horrific car accident that started her journey of healing. And then in 2010, Kirk was diagnosed with the blood sugar challenge, but it wasn't until 2016 when he was diagnosed with a rare and disabling disorder as a result of nerve damage to his foot that his journey started. They've learned that they need to be their best own advocate for their healing journey, and are not only helping themselves feel better and live better, but they're also teaching everyone how to be their own advocate as far as their health goes. And I just want to turn it over to Kirk and Karen, and y'all feel free to add anything else to your testimony or your profile. We're going to start with Karen, and then we'll listen to Kirk. Afterwards, we will have some question time if anyone has questions for either one of them. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you take it
Thank
over.
you, Cindy. Thank you, Gloria, too, for allowing us to come and tell our stories, because people don't know that we actually can be our own advocate when we're talking to healthcare professionals, because that's the key word, right? They're the professionals. But when it comes down to your health, we have found that they don't know you like you know you. And it does require you to pay attention and listen to your bodies and be your own best advocate. So when in my wreck, I had a wreck that I got ejected, and I had injuries all over my back, my shoulder, my face, and I ended up with some memory issues and so forth. And I'm trying to stay completely compliant, so I'm not sure what I can really say about it. But but I was mangled is a good way to say it. And I ended up, well, I can tell you this, the injury that I had with my shoulder and arm, what the doctor told me 50% of the people lose their arm with this. And I never had surgery. Thank you to the good Lord, because God has his hand all over us, or we wouldn't be sitting here now. But so first and foremost, we have to give him the glory. But he brought this to us. When I had my wreck, I was in excruciating pain, chronic excruciating pain. I was almost bedridden for 4 years, and it was a horrible way to live. I got on these prescription drugs that are supposed to help you with pain, and they just made me feel yucky, but I realized I couldn't live without them. And so I was afraid that that was how my life was going to be. We got introduced to an oil that I'm not sure if I can even say what it is, but it helped me get off of the prescription drugs, and I'm so thankful for that. Yet I was taking quite a bit of it still, and I was grateful, very grateful, because my quality of life was beginning to come around, and I again couldn't be more thankful. However, we got introduced to ASEA for Kirk, and I didn't pay attention to that because it was all about Kirk and saving him and his feet. It was just in July of 2022 that I actually paid attention to what this ASEA was and started taking it myself. I started drinking about 4 ounces a day, and I told Kirk about 2 weeks in, maybe, might have been a month in, I'm not feeling that aha moment. I'm not feeling all this thing that Cindy was talking about, and Doria, or they, I didn't feel all that. So I was just okay. So we were on a call similar to this, and somebody had said that they increased their intake of the ASEA. So I did. I doubled it to 8 ounces. The second day that I did that, I got up out of bed that next morning, and before I could even get past the bed, I turned to him and said, "Oh my gosh, I see what they've been saying. I could feel it. It was different." And I am not taking that oil on a daily basis any longer. And I almost, maybe once or twice a month, am I taking it now. And I never thought I'd be without it. But what I have done is I make sure to drink my 8 ounces. I can tell a difference if I don't. And if I overdo, which I tend to do because now I can go and do and be, I will drink just a little bit more, and it helps me push through whatever pain I might, or discomfort I might be coming into because of the overdoing. So my story is, it pales compared to Kirk, because so back, gosh, I guess it was 2010, he got diagnosed with this blood sugar disorder, but he did not take it serious, and he fought tooth and nail to keep the lifestyle that he wanted. And so he did. And I know that he chose to take that route, and he thought that it was going to end in a different situation. He has now confessed to me and the world that he was trying to make it to where he didn't stay here long, and he was going to move on and leave me with the insurance money, which is ridiculous. So thank goodness that didn't happen, because he got introduced to this ASEA. He started drinking it right away in 2016. No, in 2016, he got diagnosed with that foot disorder, and they were going to amputate his foot. Then we ended up getting it in the other foot, and so they were going to amputate both feet. 2018, we got introduced to ASEA. And he started drinking it, and he was not necessarily getting better, but he wasn't getting worse. And then we talked to, I just have to say this about ASEA. The people here truly care. And we have had such great support that there's a man that has, I always makes me cry, this mentor that didn't know us at all, but he would call us and just check on Kirk through the time. And he had guided us to start soaking his feet in the so we did that, and he stopped drinking it because we didn't really know what we had. But because we wouldn't have stopped had we realized what we had. But anyway, we were soaking his feet, and we soaked his feet every day, sometimes twice a day, because immediately we saw a difference. The doctor had pretty much given up and was preparing us for amputation. He told us at that time that there's 3 ways to treat what he had: full foot reconstruction, amputation, or shaving the bones that have crushed. So he said full foot reconstruction was off the table. He just could not survive the surgeries. So he started preparing us for amputation. I told the doctor, we're not going to amputate. We're going to find a way. So I started trying all kinds of essential oils, lots of prayer, anything, almost anything and everything that people would tell me, I searched out. And a friend of ours introduced Kirk to the ASEA, and we started using that. And we started seeing results right away once we started soaking his feet. And we continued to do that. The doctor told us, here's part of, I can't tell you don't do what the doctor said, but he did tell us don't soak because there was infection. And you don't want to soak a foot or anything that has infection. However, what did we have to lose? They were talking about cutting them off anyway. So we just started soaking them, kept soaking them. We got the gel eventually, because the gel came out shortly after that. Started using the gel when we would do doctor the wounds or dress the wounds. And we've just started doing that. I mean, every day, sometimes twice a day, a lot there for a while, twice a day. I know I'm not letting you talk.
It's okay.
So that was my job. My job was to save his feet and help him to move forward. And we took that seriously. So when we would talk to the doctors, we would tell them exactly what we were doing. We didn't keep it from them, and they would advise us not to do it, but then we would do it anyway because we were getting results. And so the doctor at that time would not even look at the product. He wouldn't touch it or anything. So that was way back in 2018, 19-ish. And then in 2021, we went, there was all that pandemic stuff that we didn't go to the doctor because it wasn't a dire need. But the wounds, he had open wounds in the bottom of his feet all the way to the bone. Those actually healed. By the time we went in 2021 to see that doctor, number one, he teared up and was very emotional about the progress. He just couldn't believe it. And he said, okay, great. I'm going to recommend you for full foot reconstruction. And we were saying, that's off the table. That was off the table. He said, I know, but look at him. This is a different man that came to see me back then. So we went to that, the doctor, the orthopedic surgeon, world renowned in this field. And he did the first surgery. We went back 3 weeks later for a checkup, and there was some serious infection. They went back in and cleaned all that out. That surgery went great. And then they gave him some antibiotic that he ended up flatlining and he woke up on the ventilator in ICU and was out of ICU that very next day. And when we got back to the room, now we stayed in the hospital another 2.5 weeks, but we got back to the room. We had doctors coming in for about 4 days. They would come in and wanted to meet him, shake his hand, talk to him, because not one of them had ever seen anyone get from where he was to out of ICU in a day. And we got to tell a lot of doctors about ASEA and nurses. And there's no question in our mind that that is the reason. Now, fast forward a little bit, actually, it's kind of in the middle there. Sorry about the time frame. When we went to go to an event to learn more about ASEA, when I found out that the reason Kirk was getting so much better, he wasn't drinking it, but he was getting full benefit of it because he was soaking his feet. I didn't understand it. It was way over my head scientifically, but I knew that was huge. That was huge. And so that's when I started drinking it. And then you've heard my story. But so they put a wound vac on. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a crazy contraption that they have on there to help a wound heal. They said it would be on 3 to 6 months, and in 7 weeks, the wound vac was off.
No.
3 weeks.
The surgery was April 29th, April 30th. I came off of the ventilator. I was on the wound vac April 30th, and then for the 2.5 weeks, I went to rehab after 2.5 weeks, and I was in rehab from Thursday until the next Thursday was my first appointment at the wound care doctor, and they took the wound vac off, said, you don't need this.
Okay, so 3 weeks. Sorry.
So yeah,
Go ahead.
3.5, 4 weeks.
All right, so 3 weeks he was off of the wound vac, and then they did a skin graft because there was still a hole. They did a skin graft. They said it would also be another 3 to 6 weeks, 6 months before he would be able to get that done. And that's where it was 7 weeks. And
Yeah.
then in 7 weeks, he was completely healed and was able to ring the bell at the wound care center and be released. And at this time, that same doctor was our wound care doctor. He not only told the nurses about what we were using, he told the skin graft guy about what we were using, and he put the gel on him himself the last time Kirk was there, because we were still using it just to keep putting gel in there. So we come a long way with that doctor. And his orthopedic surgeon, after the second surgery, has now become an advocate for this ASEA as well. So let's move forward to the second surgery. So he's doing remarkably well, obviously, with the first surgery. We go to the second surgery.
Just one.
Okay.
I had kind of slowed down on my intake for the first surgery because the wounds had closed, and the pandemic period actually, let the world slow down enough for my wounds to heal. And so then we get through all that with all the wound care, and the second surgery we had gone delivering ASEA around Thanksgiving, and we were got where we were either cold, something, whatever. And so we got home from Thanksgiving and upped our dose for the surgery, and then you can pick it back up from there.
So yes, that's a great point, though. We increased his intake to 16 ounces a day the month before his second surgery. And we have been learning. We're constantly learning. So with that, he went in on New Year's Eve to have the second surgery, same full foot reconstruction.
4 screws.
4 screws in a plate in each foot. Same thing. The doctor said that one went easier. It took less time. And New Year's Day, they released him. So he was in a.
Thanks to Biome.
Okay, that's all we're gonna say about that.
Yeah.
But so But Enviome is for those of you that don't know, is part of our Via line that is the nutraceuticals that are amazing, and that helps your gut health. So, but what we did was we were able to stay in the hospital one day instead of at least 5. We were going to be in there 5 if that other stuff hadn't happened. So the healing process has been remarkable.
We were told I'd be 5 to 6 months, 0 weight bearing on my left
Right.
foot. And at 2.5 months, and I wasn't released from the surgeon yet, but I started using the walker around the house. And then on, from New Year's Day to March 28th, I was released by my surgeon to be weight bearing.
And now we can't keep him down, to be honest. So we still have some ways to go. The foot surgery was extensive, so there's still healing. We're still rubbing Renew 28 on his feet. We are the scars are looking amazing. I don't know that we're going to be able to see them in a while because they just keep getting better. And the difference in his psyche, the difference in his mood and his what's the word? I can't say the word, but his emotions are so much better. His spirits have been lifted so much higher. He's actually turning back into that man that I married 34 years ago. The fun loving, looking to enjoy life again, not just survive it.
And I'm probably, according to my surgeon, they told us that this would be a 2-year. This would be a 2-year journey. And we're only, 14, 15 months in. So I'm, way ahead of schedule.
He has amazed them, everybody in the whole clinic, everybody. I don't know what else to say.
That's awesome. Kirk, did you want to share anything else?
Yeah.
My wound care specialist right here. Has put so much into saving my life, and I'm forever grateful. And I love her with every ounce of everything I got.
Oh, you should. You better. Yeah.
That's such an amazing
thank you.
story. Go ahead.
Well, it's a life worth saving. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. That's just amazing. I'm sure he appreciates that. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with the questions. Let's see.
The wound care
Mhm.
of anybody, the like I said, the pandemic slowing things down. When you approach this with something that is really aggressive and time is of the essence, with diving into this, and I'll say it, damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead, because sitting back and waiting is time lost that you don't have.
And that goes from what we're seeing, that goes with everything that we talk, almost everybody we talk to, there's something that they if they drag their feet, they're just wasting time. And time is so precious. So I guess that's just something I would like to say. We didn't know. People talk about having a calling, people talking about seeing a vision, and what is your why when you do something in business? What keeps you going? And we knew we're caring people. We've tried to help people along the way for all these years. But this is different. This is different in the fact that, number one, it's scientifically based. Number two, the medical world, medical field, whatever, the people that are a lot smarter than I am scientifically and medically, they understand. If they look at it, they get it. And that's, we do want to listen to our medical professionals. However, had I listened to my medical professional the way that he was talking, I would have probably lost my arm. I wasn't willing to do that. So, and if we'd have listened to that other medical professional with Kirk, we have no doubt he would have lost his feet. I'm just so thankful that we have, and I believe God has brought to us the vehicle and the products to help us save that and keep that from happening. And we really do want to help people learn how to be their own best advocate and, use your head.
Take that life and put it behind you and walk in faith with this. And you will, I will say, for me, it has changed my outcome. And now you can let the question.
We'll be glad to answer questions.
Well, and that's what I tell people because, like I said, I had to go to the third provider to get the right diagnosis for myself. So yeah, always get a second opinion. If you don't feel good about it, go with your gut, or if God's given you an instinct, follow that definitely. So I'm not going to take my time to ask questions. I'm going to let the audience, because I can always catch you guys if I come up, have another question at some point. Doya, do you have something before we open it up for everyone else?
I have a comment and then I just have a question. So, Kirk, I have in my med surg nursing, I'm taking care of patients just like yourself. And when they've had this infection in their bone, they've been on either massive antibiotics, which cause kidney damage. And probably, I would say a good 80% of them did have amputations done. So it's just encouraging to hear. I mean, I'm always amazed what our technology is doing. It's just a blessing. But what I was going to ask you, I know you have a sugar challenge. So what was your sugar levels during that time?
3, 4, as high as every time I'd go to my care, and I'd go in and they'd send me out, and then they'd get the blood test and they'd run out and grab me and drag me back in. And, sometimes it was around, 450, 500.
320 was the lowest it was on an average.
Yeah.
And he was taking, can we say how much he was taking of the drug? He was taking
Sure.
48 units a day.
Mm.
He was completely off of the insulin. And
From December of 2019 to the surgery of April 5th.
right. And then for those of you that don't know, when you've got a blood sugar challenge like this, any kind of stress on your body, it throws everything out of whack. So he had to get back on that. But I would say on an average, it's maybe 5 units a day. A lot of times less.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And we're still going down.
Yeah. So that redox signaling molecules, just like David Silverman says, all about amplifying. So, we always tell people, don't go off your medications, still stay on your medications, but monitor your blood sugar levels, monitor your blood pressure, do all that. So eventually you'll be able to decrease your dose or get off of it. So it's just the vehicle that allows even the things that physicians order for us in reference to prescriptions to work more efficiently in our body. So yeah, just amazing. Loved it.
I think there's some questions. I see Alicia's hand up, and then I see some things in the chat as well we can address. Go ahead, Alicia.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say that your testimony is truly a blessing. My husband has been going through the same thing, experienced amputation. I was able to, and this is just a testimony for people on the call, be an advocate for your health. My husband began to develop places on his foot, on the left leg. And so I reached out to Doria. She began to explain to me what to do. We started with 4 ounces of him taking it, spraying his foot and his legs. Within the second day, the ulcers began to dry up on the foot and the leg. So I would have to say he's diabetic. Please take care of your health. Just do an alternative. Just think about it. I know we have a lot of guests that are on the call, but we have truly seen a blessing with my husband. I'm his wound care nurse. I'm making him stay completely off of his foot. Now the ulcers on the foot have dried up completely. The scabs have fallen off. And so we're truly, truly within 2 months of him taking this, we're seeing God do a miraculous thing in my husband's life. And so I would like to say that I'm just grateful, because I know if I had taken him to the doctor, it would have been a double amputation. And I refuse to go that route again. And so I just want to encourage everyone, just give your life a chance. Listen to the science of this. We know we're not making any healthcare claims, but this has truly changed my husband's life, and he's walking much better now. And so I'm just truly grateful that we have found this product. And so this is just my testimony tonight to say that this has been a blessing for Stan and I, and especially for my husband. I was trying to get him in here, but maybe one day you all be able to see him. But God has truly, truly, truly have worked a miracle. So thank you all so much. And Doria, I love you so much. And just for being so kind and gracious to Stan and I, and just walking us through this process.
Thank you, Alicia. There, anyone else have a question? And I'll read through that. There was one thing in the chat. It said, how did you feel? How did your feet feel when you soaked your feet before, during, and after?
The neuropathy, I have the blessing and the curse of neuropathy, because I would have the ulcers and Karen would get me nearly healed. And so I would go back to work, and which was, climbing ladders, digging ditches, getting in ditches, and
open them back up.
open them back
And
up.
there we go again.
And so, never really, I'll tell everybody, I've never really felt with this, I take it that I'm a redheaded mutant. I've never really felt it. I walked right through neuropathy and just kept going. And so, but I do, as things have, I have had feeling now, and it's not, it's not ghost pain. It's not phantom pain. It is, if I stretch something or, do too much, that I will feel, I have more feeling in my feet now. When they started doing the debriding, there was, no,
There's no blood.
no blood.
It wouldn't. The breeding is where they clean the wound off with a scalpel and stuff, and cut off the dead skin and all. And there was no blood or anything. His circulation was so bad, and we started soaking his feet. We weren't even using the gel at that time. It got to where he had such great circulation. We've had ultrasounds done now, obviously for these surgeries, and the blood levels go up like this, like when the heartbeat does, and his go just to the top. Every ultrasound tech has said there's people that don't have issues with their feet that don't have as good a circulation as he does, and he had almost none. So they've come a long, long way.
That's awesome. Any other questions for Kirk or Karen?
I would like to say I don't know what he felt, because he really wasn't feeling much, but what I saw was what a festered wound looks like. They would be a festered wound. I would soak them and we would let them air dry before we would cover them with the wound, with the bandages. And when they would come out of the liquid and be air drying, they were no longer festered. They weren't angry anymore. They would have calmed down every single time. Now, granted, the next day when we would unwrap them, they'd be angry again and we would soak them and then they'd get unangry and then, you know, but he also did not stay off of them because he couldn't feel. He was in he's been in orthopedic boots since 2016. But he is going to get out of them now. We didn't see that before, but now we're going to see that happen.
Well, I think I did hear a story about an event you were going to where you were going to be recognized and you had promised yourself or something you wouldn't do that until you could walk up there.
I had said that, you know, the next
You got it. You got it.
the next event that I go to, which was Waco, the next event I go to, that I'm walking across stage as my rank is called, and nobody was walking. You know, they were just standing up.
Time out. He's been in a wheelchair the whole time. All the events he'd been in a wheelchair and
I was using a walker at the one in September.
That's true. Okay. So, but he had been in a wheelchair and I would wheel him up to whatever our rank was. And then I would walk across stage and then pick him back up and go back to our seats. And I hated doing that, but there wasn't a way to have the wheelchair go across. So it was very important to him to be able to walk. So he got up and walked
And he did
by
it.
himself.
That's awesome.
And
You know,
he'll
it's
be
a lot.
looking at the next one.
Absolutely. Your mind can tell your body a lot of things, you know, very strong willpower there and God's blessings as well. That's awesome. Any other questions in the chat, Doria? Am I missing anything?
It says, did you regain your feeling yet? Yeah.
Not completely, but I'm able to, you know, walk without a walker. And it's, I don't, you know, I've been in the boots so long that I don't know how stable I'll be walking barefoot, but I'm, you know, at a point where I'm starting to do that. And I pay close attention. I'll, you know, even with my vision, I'm making sure I don't step on anything.
We didn't even talk about his vision, but we can do that another time because there's an old vision story too.
Yeah.
But I see that he has more sensation when I touch his feet and from his ankles toward his toes. He is regaining some. He's feeling things that in places he wasn't feeling before. I don't make a big deal about it because he doesn't like me to make a big deal, but I see the difference. It's slow, but we continue on.
I took the journey to the edge of the cliff.
He was there. What he was hoping to do, he almost did. He was
Kirk-
within a day or two of getting there.
Kirk, I know when you and I talked before this, you were telling me about someone in your family had noticed you were not the shell of the man that you once were. So I'm sure that relates back, Karen, to what you were talking about.
Yes.
Just this past weekend, my sister actually told him they were all thrilled. By the way, our family never listens to us about anything, as most families don't. And when they saw him Sunday, they were all amazed, and my sister said, "You were once a shell of the man I knew, but now I see that you're coming back, or you've come back," is what she said. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I see that Susan and Norm have their hands up. If y'all,
Oh, yeah, I can't see it. No, Doria, can you see them?
Yeah, Susan, I guess, is first. She has her hand up.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. You said your numbers got up to 3 and 4, and I guess you mean 100, 300, 100. Are they still that high, or have they come down?
Well, I can tell you that when you eat bad, your numbers go up.
So your diet, that was my second question was, did you change your diet?
And
So your
so
diet was important.
I still, my good friend that made me a key lime cheesecake for my birthday, and I had a limited, in moderation. Well, with moderation with that, I probably the next, that night I had to up my insulin a little bit on the sliding scale, but for the most part, I do better. I don't drink any sodas at all. And because I was, I couldn't pass a QT without a 64-ounce Diet Coke.
So to answer your question, it has come down and it stays down as a rule, as long as he doesn't eat cheesecake or go to the extreme like that.
I've got a friend that won't control
It-
diet. And
Well,
that's,
his fasting sugar level was always over 250, closer to 280,
Mhm.
just every day, and it now is about 120 to 140. So
Wow,
it's really come down quite a bit. Yes.
great. Thank you.
The surgeon said that, he was really concerned about because of everything that, I am a dialysis patient. He says he takes off more feet that he repairs than he saves. And this really encouraged him.
Yes.
That he said, he knew that with all of my challenges that he was really surprised that when it went bad, that we pulled it back. And, yeah.
It's just gonna keep improving.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
longer you're on it, the more your body's gonna heal.
Yep. Yep.
The right direction.
The
Gloria,
very,
who was, I'm sorry.
the
go
very
ahead.
first event that we went to was just to see what this stuff was. He was actually in a hover round, and Dr. Silverman himself, like he met him and talked to him, and I wasn't there for whatever reason. I'm so sad about that because I haven't ever met him.
You were over there talking to
Okay.
Lee Osler about his book.
Oh, okay. So I was talking to Dr. Lee, but all right. So he encouraged Kirk, just stick with it. Just stick with it, stay on it, stick with it, stay on it, and you'll see. And that has been, he has brought that up so many times over these few years, so many times that those words have stuck in his head. And he has been so adamant with these doctors, like, I'm not stopping this here. This is what I'm gonna do. And I can't wait to meet Dr.
They want him to
because I'm gonna
stop?
hug him.
I
Yeah.
thought maybe this was your method of signing up doctors, was just be real sick and let them see the success.
I don't advise that.
Yeah. It does create some good, some interesting
It does.
opportunities.
It does.
I'm sure it does. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
take up
thank
all the
you.
time.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Gloria, who else? Did we see Norm?
Norm
Go ahead,
has his
Norm.
hands up.
Hello.
Good evening, Kirk and Karen. Thank you so much for your testimony. I learned a lot tonight as an amputee of 30 years from bad medicine way back when. I have been fighting wounds chronically that keep reappearing. I'll be good for a few months and they'll come back on my right foot. I'm a left foot below knee amputee, and on the right side, I have to wear compression hose to pump the blood back up to my heart. And the wounds just keep on coming. Luckily, though, with ASEA, which will have been in my life 3 years this coming August, the size of my wounds are a lot smaller and a lot easier to deal with. I don't go to the wound care doctors anymore. However, I've been using gel on my foot, but listening to your story tonight with the soaking in the liquid, it just seems to inspire me to do more of the liquid and soaking it to help close these things up, because these things last 3-4 months at times. And it gets very frustrating, especially when you're trying to hit the gas pedal and the brake. And I don't have neuropathy, so my foot hurts like crazy with the inflammation. So really appreciate hearing what you were doing to battle what you're going through, and really give you a lot of kudos for hanging in there and doing what you're doing. I worked with amputees for 9.5 years with a prosthetic company and trying to give encouragement, running the amputee support group. And it really made me feel good helping them, but also saddened me not being able to help people beforehand so they don't have to lose their limbs. And with ASEA, we have hope. And that's what I really cherish now, knowing that I can help somebody to not have to face what I've been experiencing now for 30 years. I thank you very much. It was a very good talk tonight and lots of encouragement. So thank
Norm,
you.
I want to encourage you to, when you soak them for 10 to 20 minutes. You don't really need to go any longer than that.
Okay.
And then I would pat it dry, but I would use a sterile gauze over the wound. I'd use a towel around the foot and stuff, but on the wound, I would never use anything but sterile. And then let it air dry completely. Let it be good and dry before you put gel on it, and then cover it with the gauze from there. But it's a long process, but it's well worth it. You do not want to get the wound doctor or bandage up the wound after it's been so wet. You need to not do that. Okay.
Yeah, I use a foam bandage that's impregnated with silver.
Okay.
And that seems to have been doing the trick for me for several years now, as far as helping to suck up the exudate
Right.
and, get it inside the bandage, and then frequent bandage changes until I don't have as much weeping anymore.
Nice.
But I just, I'm very grateful for this product, because what used to be 50-cent piece size wounds are now down to an 1/8 inch.
Nice.
That is great. Have you experienced the mask on any of your wounds?
I've put the mask around my foot and the bottom of the foot and around the other toes. And so I've been doing that a little bit here and there. And I'm also having a clumping problem in my vein behind my knee on my amputated side, which is causing me great difficulty walking right now. So I have a large clot that's been developed, and so I'm going through that as well. So I don't know which one to choose to walk on lately. It's been difficult.
Yes,
But
sir. Well,
hanging in.
God bless you on your journey, and
Thanks.
thanks for sharing.
Are
I
you?
do put the mask behind my knee to help with that. So I just have to do it more frequently now that I got some more supplies in.
Are you planning on going to Fort Worth in September?
I'm a caregiver for a 91-year-old mother, and we're gonna have to stay virtual.
I understand.
Yeah,
I can't wait to meet you in person.
that would be great. That'd be great. I do go down to Charlotte, because that's a little bit of a drive. I
Yeah.
drive down to there, and I've been there quite several times. And I used to live just north of Charlotte.
Well, we have a friend that is in other stuff, but she's in Georgia and Florida. She's one of those Georgia Florida line people.
Okay.
But she's gonna drag us. We're gonna go meet her at a Charlotte event to meet Chuck and them at some point.
That'd be
So-
great.
So we'll make sure you know, so we can hopefully meet you too.
Beautiful.
We have
Yeah.
2 more people
Couple
raised
hands.
hands here. We're getting close to the end of the hour. So we have Leland Duck that has a question.
Yes, well, not so much a question, just something I want to say. I remember when Terry Bailey first introduced me to Kurt and Karen, and I remember the first time that I looked at his wounds, and my background being in orthopedics, my thoughts were, wow, I don't see much of a chance of this coming out good. I've been involved and helped on many amputations in my career, and I've worked with a lot of amputees, both from the military and from diabetic centers and things like that where they lose them for, different wounds. And I've just seen a lot, and I wasn't encouraged when I saw him, but I was excited about him being on ASEA, but he's one of the great cases that I've seen with ASEA. I compare mine are compared to his, but I've seen a variety of people that really just have got tremendous results with ASEA, and Karen, what they've been through and what Kurt has been through. This is just an amazing story, and it should encourage us all as associates in ASEA to really let us know what we have our hands on. We have something super powerful, and I've never seen anything like it in my 40 years in the career of medicine. And I continue to see things that I just don't understand, but I know the science is good. And, I see stories like mine or others, and I would just keep saying, wow, story. But now after 6.5 years, I kind of come to expect it because of what we see. And so people are listening in on this, just know that it's real, know that your body deserves to know about this product, and don't wait till something happens. You need to think preventative, and may you never know all the things that bypassed you because you're on this product or our family of products that we now have with the Redox.
That's exactly right, Leland. So I see Terry Bailey. So Terry, you must have been the one that introduced them to ASEA?
Well, actually, a friend of theirs introduced it, but I was a friend of his and introduced him. And then
Gotcha.
got to know Kirk and Karen. But I was going to also say, I think when they were soaking his feet, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys were putting it in a baggie and then putting it in water so you didn't have to use as much.
But
And that force you see around it.
so everybody knows, Terry Bailey is the one that has helped save Kirk. He's the one that has kept in touch with us and the one that has mentored us. And Terry, we couldn't be more thankful for you and Leland. Actually, y'all have been so amazing to us. But yes, Terry, you recommended this, that we put his feet in the Ziploc bag, and then we put that bag with his foot in it in a tub of water, so it helped to force the liquid to his feet. And then don't you say it?
And it was also
No.
warm water a lot of the
Okay.
time, and it helped, it helped it be maybe more active. I don't know.
Cindy, you know what I'm telling him not to say. So he but yeah, so we would and here's something that is kind of gross, but whenever we'd pull his feet out, it was amazing to me every single time that you could see particles. And I know part of it is skin and all, but it was almost like the infection was coming out of his foot into the water. It's really kind of amazing what I would see in that water.
Well, we know that Redox does detox your body, so maybe it was detoxing the infection from his feet.
Maybe.
Anybody else out there?
It's also antibacterial as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Kirk and Karen? This is just amazing. And yeah, I'd love to hear the rest of that story sometime. You were talking about Karen on the other part.
We really should do another one just on his vision.
We can do that.
We're going to invite you back.
We absolutely can.
Definitely. Yeah.
We appreciate this so much. And thank y'all for coming on, and everyone else for coming to listen, excuse me, and learning about this product. It is so amazing. And every time we hear a testimonial, it touches my heart. And I'm sure Kirk and Karen, with your testimonials. So how are you finding that people are receptive to the product after they hear your testimonial?
Yes. It sounds people that have known us are seeing the difference, like my family. But it sounds so outlandish. It sounds like so unreal that there's no way, it's too good to be true.
Right.
And with that, and we try to play it down somewhat because it is such an amazing story.
People tend to, I've been doing this. We've been doing this since 2018. Since May or June of 2018. Doesn't happen overnight for everybody. You hear stories of people getting that quick result, and you know, we try to hold back because we know that, you know, people are expecting the miracle, and you know,
We're getting better at holding back because it's been really hard. The whole
and it's, you know, it's very hard to not get emotionally attached for people's outcome, and that is, you know, I struggle with that, you know, really, but I'm more, I know what I know, and I will not falter.
Right.
and it is important for people to know that it's that we have been doing this. We were soaking his feet in 2018. You know, we have been on ASEA. He has been on ASEA since 2018. It wasn't overnight. I had a pretty quick response, but but I'm still getting better. You know, I still have chronic pain. I'm still, I still have some issues with my back and so forth. And I don't know how to say it any other way, that it just keeps getting better and better. As time goes, it just keeps getting better. And keeping the molecules in my body and the levels high enough, I see that is the key. If you are not taking enough, it will work for you, but it's going to take longer for you to see the results. If you can keep the levels high enough for a long enough period of time, you're really going to see a big difference.
And that's what I try to tell people, Karen. I try to tell them to at least give it 3 to 6 months. I really like to see 6 months, because even now I've been on 3.5 years and I'm seeing improvements in different areas myself. So it's just an ongoing process. It's not an overnight process. It never will be. Maybe with sleep or something. Some people might notice something in, a couple of days, but for major issues, it's going to take time, because obviously it took time to get to the point that you are in, Kurt. So you've come a long way in a short period of time, to me, with what you have going on. And that's just a miracle in itself. That's amazing.
I have to ask you, are you
Mhm.
are you using the Radiance? Because you look younger now than the first time that I saw you.
Well, thank you. I've only had 3 doses of the Radiance, actually.
Well, I can't wait to get ours. And we're
But
talking about the new collagen product for those of you that don't know. The
Yeah.
skincare, ASEA Redox is amazing, but the nutraceuticals, all the vitamins and the biome, like we were talking about, they are just top notch. The
Right.
skincare line is beyond good.
The
And
mask.
now we
Mhm.
have that mask that is the bomb. Oh my gosh, like where was that all my life? And now we have this Radiance, which is not, I'm so excited because it's not a foreign collagen going in your body. It's giving your body what it needs to build its own. And that's just huge. Anyway, see,
You guys are great. I mean, you're great advertisers, and Kurt's your little Vanna White.
yes,
So to
yes,
speak.
he is. Yes, he is.
Now Leland still has his hand up. Leland, did you have another comment for us? You're unmute.
No, I didn't. Just listening. No, I didn't take my hand down. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We love hearing from you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we've enjoyed this tonight so much. Dory, did you have anything else?
No, that was just incredible. And like I said, we're definitely going to have you back next time, even before maybe next fall. We still have a lot of spaces to fill. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Go ahead. We
Go
have
ahead.
Dr. Maureen Hayes on next week as our guest. And if anybody is in the Atlanta area, I don't know if anybody lives in this area, but I'm having a workshop on Saturday, and you can just text me. It's redoxatlanta.eventbrite.com, and I can put that in the chat. But it's going to just be a workshop. Just and if you know people in this area, just invite them to come.
I have one thing to say about that is thank you so much for not making us follow her, because that's going to be amazing having her on here. There's no way we could follow her.
I know you
Hold the candle.
don't discount yourself. Your testimonies were awesome. I'm serious. Everybody's is special,
thank y'all so much for
That was
having us.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we just want to share your story with anyone we can, and we just appreciate this so much. So thank you for doing this, and thank everyone for coming tonight. And y'all have a good night, and we will see you Tuesday night next week. Doria, anything else?
No, that's it.
I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you, Joe, for showing up.